And now we'll be moving on to Michelle from Stranded. So we'll be running through the Stranded presentation. Let's play that. Thank you.
Michelle, and today I'll be presenting Stranded, an AI-powered choose-your-own-adventure game with the premise being that you are stuck on an island. This is part of my submission for the OpenXAI HackNode Hackathon. Choose-your-own-adventure games have been around a long time, and are a type of gamebook where the reader is the protagonist and the choices they make determine the outcome of the story. They enable the development of decision-making skills, encourage critical thinking, and give readers the opportunity to determine their own fate. However, people aren't picking up choose-your-own-adventure books anymore. This is due to things like declining reading rates, the lack of replayability in the original model, people don't have access, don't understand the appeal, or consider it less exciting than other things out there, such as online games. The purpose of Stranded is to overcome these problems, and to showcase choose-your-own-adventure games in a new, modern, AI-powered twist. The purpose being to enable creativity, create community, and enhance adventure. So, how does it work? Well, Stranded is text-based and users can choose to do or say something whenever points of choice arise. The AI prompts are structured in a way that there are 5 milestones that the user can reach, and this was done for narrative purposes and to ensure that the story is linear. However, the way that the users reach those milestones changes with each game, as the AI story adapts its answers to how the user interacts with it. So I'll just begin by swiping across in order to show you how things play out. So as you can see here, there's just like a welcome message detailing what players can do. So as I mentioned before, players can choose to do or say something throughout the story, and then obviously the AI is the one that's kind of narrating the story and progressing it forward based on what the user chooses to do or say. So as you can see here, I have a text box that can directly allow users to enter something, send, reset, and then choose to either do or say. So I'll begin by typing anything into the text box. As you can see here, like even in the first prompt, the AI is setting the scene. It's obviously obvious that it's set on a stranded island. And obviously like the user directs their own story because even though like right now the theme is pretty like tense, I could say something silly like, or do something silly like beat my chest like a gorilla. And of course, the AI will kind of tune the environment and the way the story progresses around that. So I crafted the game by creating 5 milestones that the AI has to follow. I believe for this one, it's like waking up lost and confused on an island, and then searching and like for resources and surviving. And then it goes into finding evidence of another person, having an interaction with this person, and then this interaction determines the ending. So each kind of milestone is reached in about 1 to 2 prompts. So this ensures that the pacing is there, so it's like interesting for users and the progression of the story, while simultaneously allowing freedom in how these milestones are reached. So what the user does and then how the AI interprets that will determine how the story plays out. So each play of the game is different. In the future, I would hope to develop this platform further to allow users to create their own choose-your-own-adventure game by utilizing the story points method as I did in Stranded. For example, creating a platform where users can create their own story points and share these stories with other people. I see this as having great potential to create communities from stories users have created and shared with one another. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Michelle from Stranded. That was a great presentation. I can really see that scaling up into mini apps across many mobile phones as a fun game to play. So let's hand over to the judges for their questions.
I can go. First of all, recently we got a deal for investment. It was a similar idea. They were asking for $1 million or $20 million valuation. But this, why people were ready to, they were able to raise some money is because they were focusing on children, but the target audience were parents. So where you actually how do you put your children to bed? What type of stories you do? And of course, they added a little bit around uh, like things that you can do. The angle was better parenting and whatnot. But I see this similar, so good product. Do you see a specific target audience for this? And how do you plan to monetize this?
Yeah, thank you for your question. So I do believe there is a huge community of people who enjoy storytelling games. For example, Dungeons and Dragons is a very popular one, or people who grew up on like classic choose your own adventure games, who could be like a potential user base for this. I think this could also extend to AI curious users. I feel like there are a lot of people out there who love AI enough to just try out new things that are coming out in that space, or potentially also writers and creatives who would be interested in like experimenting with storytelling in this like new way and like with like this new emerging technology. um so like I would monetize this. I feel like this has like great potential to be monetized in various ways. For example, using like a freemium model where like basic features are free but more advanced features are able to be bought, or via like an ad revenue model, so which would like work as users would actually be like spending time on the app. And I feel like the go-to market strategy would be first to like launch with a more focused group. So people who already do love like interactive storytelling, like fiction fans or people who enjoy similar mobile games, for example, Episode. And then I would use like various distribution channels like TikTok and Instagram Reels, Reddit forums as well to kind of gauge public interest. And then maybe this would allow us to like really specify who the target group is, and then kind of distribute it like that.
I thought I'll go next if that's okay. I thought the solution is very unique in its own space. It was a bit of an impromptu plus self-regulated behavioral modification, if I can put it that way. One of the use cases I was thinking of for myself, if I'm the user, for example, would be induced by, say, if I tell the model that I want to learn something new, a new language, and this is my core language, and I know bits and pieces of this other language, then it can actually take me through this game storytelling to teach me a new language on an adventure journey. And if I say I want to travel to, say, Japan next year, it can actually build a realistic sort of a tour for me so I can experience it digitally before I go there next year and what to expect. So a brilliant idea. You've done really, really well. Not much of a question, just a comment. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'd love to see how you could also jump on, things like what Sora and the teams are doing with video and be able to create IP. So connecting in and be able to monetize that and bringing in like characters that are well known out there in media as well, and be able to get that sort of business model going too.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this definitely has great potential to give like people like the creative freedom, even if they don't have like those skills to actually be able to like sit down and write out a whole universe. Like we can't all be J.K. Rowling and like create like this wonderful place, whereas we can like utilize these tools to kind of benefit ourselves both like creatively, and also like as you were saying, in terms of like lifestyle, like learning a new language or traveling abroad.
Okay, Ashton, you got a question?
Just a feedback, I would say. I think it's a great solution where societies, going in a very different direction. Having these kind of solutions is a great initiatives. I would say maybe for those who are maybe visual, now we have AI can create like a really wonderful like graphics and images. Maybe instead of using words, maybe you can use sort of a powerful image generation. So that gives a user a really good, I would say, like an inspiration for a purpose or a cause. Because sometimes images can represent maybe thousands of words. So I think like having these AI capabilities, like image generation in the last 2 years in AI capabilities have probably progressed significantly. If you can use image generation just to give a message or tell a story along with text. I think that will be a really powerful solution for the end user, and end user will probably enjoy. For me specifically, I'm a visual person. I would really enjoy having text and imaginative images. So I think it's a great way to showcase whatever your journey going to look like, because it's going to be personalized as well, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I would definitely be really interested in doing that. I think especially like if it's like following the milestone logic, I feel like AI can kind of like pre-generate an image that corresponds to the milestone that like the user wants to reach. And I think, yeah, I feel like that's a really good idea, and I would definitely be interested in implementing that.
Cool.
Great. I think we have a community question. So how do you see decentralized AI enabling offline gameplay or user-owned story data?
Well, I believe that like in platforms such as this, users would be able to kind of like create these like games, play them, and then maybe like save the text offline, and then be able to like share that across like other like platforms. Like for example, like if I develop this like further and like create a platform where people can like create their own stories, then perhaps people can post these stories and then others can like download them, like the same way that people use like Wattpad or like online books and like download them in like a visual like Word format or like an audio one. So I feel like that would be able to allow for like offline gameplay, as people can kind of like interact with other people's stories and kind of see like the endings that they had. With user-owned story data, perhaps like being able to monetize it, as I mentioned like previously with like the freemium model, maybe having like premium creators or like creators who have like public pages and then have like more close to heart stories on like a private page that is like behind a paywall. So something like that in that sense. Does that answer the question, hopefully?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks, Michelle. That was wonderful to see Stranded, and looking forward to seeing how it goes in the hackathon. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank you
much
so
for
much.
presenting today.